What if Operation Sea Lion was successful? Operation Sea Lion is the code name for the German naval invasion of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in 1940. The first step was for the Luftwaffe to destroy the Royal Air Force, then the Royal Navy, and then they would land in the island of Great Britain itself. But one German pilot accidentally bombed London, to which Churchill replied by sending a small bomber force to bomb Berlin. Hitler was furious and tasked all bombers to focus on London. The RAF was then able to repair their planes and crush the Luftwaffe and Hitler's hopes of Operation Sea Lion succeeding. But what if that didn't happen? What if Operation Sea Lion was successful? Note that it would be unrealistic for it to work out, and so I can't possibly make a realistic timeline. Here the German pilot doesn't bomb London and the Luftwaffe is as powerful as Big Jack Goring claims it to be. Germany continues to bomb the RAF, not the communist one so far, followed by the RN. In September 1940, German parachuter land in Brighton and Dover. They are followed by Army Group of under Gerd von Rundstedt, consisting of the 9th Army located in Le Havre and the 16th Army in Boulogne, Calais, Dunkirk and Ostend, and Army Group B under Wilhelm Ritter von Leeb consisting of the 6th Army located in Cherbourg. The 6th Army landed in Lyme Regis, the 9th Army landed in Ventnor and Brighton, and the 16th Army landed in Bexhill, Folkestone and Ramsgate. Ireland joined the war after some negotiations and invaded Ulster. The Germans pushed towards the Avon and Nen River and besieged London. The royal family and government flee to Ottawa. By the end of the year, Field Marshal Sir John Dill signed an armistice in Oxford. The government in Ottawa didn't recognize this, but England fell. Ireland got Ulster and Scotland became independent, though under a pro-Axis regime. England and Wales become the Kingdom of England with Edward VIII as king and Oswald Mosley as prime minister. The south of England is under direct German occupation similar to northern France, while the north becomes Birmingham, England. The Isle of Man was also annexed by Germany as a naval base, while the Channel Islands are transformed to Vichy France. With central authority gone, the British Empire crumbles. Spain takes Gibraltar while Italy took Malta and Cyprus. In Africa, Egypt declared independence and even took the Suez and Sudan. Italy took Somaliland and most of Kenya. Germany, starting of an Italian East Africa, colonized the rest of Kenya, Uganda and Tanganyika. Vichy France took Gambia, Sierra Leone, Ghana and Nigeria, and South Africa, still holding on to the monarchy, captured British Southern Africa. In the Middle East, Iraq unites with Transjordan into the Arab Federation and annexes Kuwait. Saudi Arabia takes Qatar and Bahrain. Yemen takes Aden and Oman declares independence. In Palestine, a civil war between Arabs and Jews breaks out, with the Arabs under Grand Mufti Amin al-Husseini defeating the Jews with heavy Arab and German support. They then established the Islamic Republic of Palestine. In South Asia, India collapses even harder, with many different groups including Hindus, Muslims, Dravidians and princes declaring independence. In the end, Japan made them sign a peace treaty. The mostly Dravidian South becomes independent as the Republic of Dravidia, but Mysore and Hyderabad are Dravidian vassals and keep their monarchy. Pakistan is formed in Punjab and Kashmir with Muhammad Ali Jinnah as first president. Afghanistan took Pashtistan and Nepal takes Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Bhutan and Jalpaiguri. Bengal became independent as the Nawab of Bengal under Wasif Ali Mirza. The rest becomes the Republic of India under Jawaharlal Nehru. All of them, Burma and Malaya, joined the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. All that was left for the monarchy was Canada, the West Indies Federation, the Union of South Africa, Commonwealth of Australia and New Zealand. In 1940, Italy still invades Greece, and without fighting the British they actually managed to take down Greece on their own. Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria and Yugoslavia would join the Axis. In the spring of 1941, Germany launches Operation Barbarossa. With an earlier invasion, they managed to take Moscow before winter, and then settle for winter camp. On the 7th December 1941, Japan bombs Pearl Harbor, and invades the Dutch East Indies, Philippines, Wake and Guam. With Indian help, they also launch an invasion into China from the south and push them to the Yangtze. In 1942, Germany launches Case Blue and invades the Caucasus. They manage to cut off the Soviets and take the Caucasus and its oil. In summer they launch an offensive and push to the Volga River. In Kazan the Red Army overthrows Stalin and Georgy Zhukov becomes General Secretary of the Soviet Union and has to make peace with the Germans. Their new border is the Yellow Line. In 1943 Germany launches an invasion into Africa, and in the same year Spain joins the war and invades Portugal. Turkey also joins, as for not to get invaded. In 1944 Japan finally manages to take down the Chiang Kai-shek regime after capturing him in Chengdu, and the Ma and Shaanxi clique lose any hope ending the war. By 1945 the war finally ends. Germany keeps all of its European holdings and takes Ghana, Togo, Dahomey, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ubangi, Shari, Gabon, Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanganyika, Uganda, Western Kenya, Northern Mozambique, Nyasaland, Northern Rhodesia, Angola, Southwest Africa and Madagascar. Italy took central and eastern Kenya, British and French Somaliland and Tunisia, while Spain bore Morocco. The French state got Gambia and Sierra Leone. South Africa annexes Lesotho, Eswatini, Botswana, southern Rhodesia and southern and central Mozambique. Mengjiang got Sichuan while Japan took Tianjin, Shandong, Greater Shanghai, Zhejiang, Greater Guangzhou and Hainan. The rest of China is transformed into the reorganized national government of the Republic of China. Japan got the Philippines, Wake and Guam, but failed to take Hawaii. They also formed the Republic of Indonesia in the Dutch East Indies, North Borneo, and Papua. After the War of Four-Way Cold starts between the Axis in Europe, Africa, and West Asia, Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere in East, Southeast, and South Asia, the Comintern in Eastern Europe and North Asia, and the United Nations in Oceania, Southern Africa, and the Americas. In 1945, the United States tested its first nuke, followed by Germany, Japan, Russia, and Italy. The German economy would also collapse now that the war machine can't conquer new lands. In 1949 Japan invades the Soviet Union. They manage to defeat the Soviets and Manchukuo annexes Outer Manchuria. Lands east of the Lena River become the Far Eastern Republic under Konstantin Radzievsky. Mengjiang annexes Mongolia and Tanna Tuva, and Xinjiang becomes the Ottoman Sultanate under Abdulmejid II. In 1947 Victor Emanuele III died and Umberto II became King of Italy and Emperor of Ethiopia. In 1949 Benito Mussolini died and Galeazzo Ciano becomes Duce of Italy. In 1953 Adolf Hitler died and Party Minister of the National Socialist German Workers' Party Martin Bormann became Führer in Germania, but the opposition quickly grew. In the Ostland, Ukraine, Caucasus and Muscovy the Wehrmacht rises up, and in Riga Göring declares himself to be the true Führer. In Austria, Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg the SS also rose up, declaring in Munich that Heinrich Himmler is the true Führer, and lastly in the Rhineland and lower the German resistance rose up with their seat in Hamburg. The German resistance is led by the Deutsche Triumvirate, who consist of Henning von Treschow, Erwin von Witzleben and Klaus von Stauffenberg. The government of Bormann quickly collapsed, and Hans Speidel assassinates Bormann in Germania and joins forces with the Triumvirate, now the Quadriumvirate. But as Bormann's government collapsed, the German resistance and the militarists meet at the Oder River. It seemed like the militarists will now steamroll them, but then Georgy Zhukov launched Operation Jupiter, the invasion of Reichskommissariat Moscovian and Caucasus. The Soviets pushed the Germans to the Volga uncontested in a few days. Soon later they capture Moscow and Polisburg and besiege St. Petersburg, and they managed to cut off. Göring was forced to send forces to the east, and the Germans stopped the Soviets at the Daugava and Dnipro River. The German resistance then launches its own operation. Meanwhile Belarus declared independence, and the Soviets used it to cut off Ukraine and the Baltics. At this point the militarists just complete collapse, and Göring was found by Germans in Königsberg. The Soviet Union and German resistance signed the Second Treaty of Stalingrad. The Soviet Union annexes Reichskommissariat Moscovian, Caucasian, Ukraine and Ostland, leaving only the general government behind. Though many in the Soviet Politburo would like to see the return of Bialystok and East Galicia. In the meanwhile the SS managed to push the resistance out of Alsace-Lorraine and the Palatinate, but with Göring dealt with they can now focus on Himmler. Furthermore the German military rather allies itself with the resistance than with the SS, and the United States and Soviet Union support the resistance in their war against Nazism. The SS quickly crumbles and has to withdraw further and further. In 1955, German forces capture Vienna, ending the German Civil War. From now on, the Quadriumvirate are the head of a German provisional government, and they seek to restore democracy and denazify Germany. Meanwhile, the German sphere was in chaos and German troops marched into Czechoslovakia, Poland, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, and England for a second time. But here German rule was softer and they too are denazified. In 1959, the Federal Republic of Germany is formed, and in its first election Konrad Adenauer became its first Bundeskanzler. They also formed the Third Czechoslovak Republic, Third Polish Republic, Kingdom of Denmark, Kingdom of Norway, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Kingdom of Belgium, the French Fourth Republic, and the Kingdom of England. However, these liberal ideals distanced the rest of the Axis from Germany, who formed the Pact of Rome. Germany forms the Warsaw Pact with its allies. But on the other hand, Germany started détente with the United States. In 1956, Italy invaded the Arab League. With Turkish help they invade the Levant and Iraq. Saudi Arabia collapsed quickly, followed by Yemen and Oman. After vicious fighting, Egypt too surrenders. Turkey takes Mosul and Kirkuk. Italy puppets the Mutawakkilite Kingdom of Arabia under Ahmad bin Yahya, the Kingdom of Iraq under Faisal II, Kingdom of the Levant under Hussein I, and the Kingdom of Egypt under Fuad II. In 1966, the people of China revolt against Japanese rule, and this revolution spreads to Southeast Asia. As this was going on, Georgy Zhukov launches Operation Venus. They invade the Far Eastern Republic, and Japan was quick to offer them all of it, but the Soviets rejected it. In Shida they capture Rodzivsky and the Fur collapses, and Japan now offers all lands north of the Amur, Mongolia and Xinjiang, but again the Soviets reject it. They then conquer the rest of the Far East and outer Manchuria. Soon later they take Manchuria, Primorje and Korea just in time for the Great Asian War to end. The government of Fumio Go-to and the Imperial Rule Assistance Association collapse, paving the road for democracy. Japan, China, Thailand, and the Philippines would seek closer ties to the USA, and later formed the CETO with Australia, New Zealand, and USA. The Third East Turkestan Republic under Burab Shahidi, Mongolian People's Republic under Yumjajungan Sidimbal, People's Republic of Manchuria under Gwangwangfu, and Democratic People's Republic of Korea under Kim Il-sung are Soviet satellite states and join the Comintern. Afghanistan, Burma, and Indonesia are for the most part neutral and isolationist. India, which managed to unite South Asia with Soviet help, keeps close ties to them, but are for the most part neutral. In the following years, both Germany and France would decolonize, but still keep some influence in their former colonies. The Pact of Rome would end up liberalizing. After the death of Ciano and Franco in the 70s, both Iberia and Italy become democracies, and in Turkey in 1982 democracy is established after Kemalist one-party rule and military juntas. After Horthy died in 1957, Otto I became king of Hungary and restored democracy, and Prince Paul's dictatorship ended with his death. In Romania and Bulgaria, Michael I and Simeon III would liberalize, and after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, so would Reza Mohammad Pahlavi. The Pact of Rome and Warsaw Pact for into the European Defense Pact, or EDP. But Italy would slowly also decolonize. In East Africa, Kenya, Somalia, Eritrea, Mara, Sio, Harar, Galicitamino, and Djibouti gained independence, but would change their borders to fit ethnic lines. Somalia took northern Kenya and eastern Djibouti and changed its border with the majority Oromo Galicitamino. Sio unite with Amara. Harar would also be partitioned between Galicidamo, Somalia, and Amara. Some other smaller territorial changes are also implemented. The Mutawakkilite Kingdom of Arabia, Kingdom of Iraq, Kingdom of Levant, and Kingdom of Egypt gain independence. Italian Libya would however remain an overseas territory of Italy because Italians are the biggest ethnicity. Greece and Albania also regain their independence. Iberia would transform into a federation, and Iberian Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Western Sahara, Morocco, Rif, Madeira, Balearian, Portugal, Galicia, Basque, Catalonia, Leon, Aragon, Castile, and Andalus get more autonomy as co-equal members. At this point, the Soviet Union would be the only major power that is not a democracy. After Zhukov died in 1974, Brezhnev would become general secretary, followed by Andropov and Chernenko. In 1985, Gorbachev becomes general secretary of the Soviet Union, and he would reform the aging union. In this timeline, Gorbachev isn't held hostage by communist hardliners, and he signs the new treaty transforming the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics into the Union of Soviet Sovereign Republics. This new union would gradually liberalize, and new amendments would see the one-party dictatorship end in favor of a multi-party system in 2000. In 2005, the power of the Supreme Soviet, now the State Duma, increased. In 2017, he gave up most of his powers to a prime minister because of health reasons, and for the 30th of December 2022, he planned to abdicate and present a new constitution that would finish the process of democratization. But he died on 30th August of that year, and his prime minister Nikolai Rybakov becomes general secretary. As scheduled, the new constitution is presented on December 30th, 2022, and he becomes president. The Soviet satellite states of East Turkestan, Mongolia, Manchuria, and Korea would also liberalize, but the communist world, like Cuba or Indochina, condemned these reforms. South Africa still becomes a republic and may still end apartheid, but would be even less stable because of the many ethnicities. Canada, Australia, and New Zealand are still under Charles III, who still claims ownership over England, led by his first cousin, once removed Richard IV. In this timeline, Germany would dominate most of Europe, but after the death of Hitler, democracy finds itself back into Germany. As time passes on, Japan, Italy, and even the Soviet Union would become democracies as well. The world would, however, still be tripolar between Eurasia under the Soviet Union, Europe under Germany, and the Americas and East Asia under the United States. If you liked the episode, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.